So in this episode, we'll actually run a simple example on a project management system. Um, we'll start from scratch by creating a workspace and then move on to spaces and then move down below so that people can have an idea of how these things work. Obviously, we can use a template, but I haven't touched upon template there. Goal of this is to just make everybody understand how to do these simple tasks so that they can have some control over ClickUp. So we'll start from scratch. I'll go here. I want to create another workspace. That's my workspace name. I just want to call it example. So let's call it projects, right? So let's say car projects. We hit enter. I'm happy so far. It's just me. I'm not importing, and then I hit play with ClickUp, and my project should come. So you realize that I'm in the car project. My first workspace is still here, and when I click on it, it's going to switch. But I'm in the car project. So in the car project, you realize that a space automatically has been created for me. Usually what I do is I rename it, but for the purposes of this example, I'm just going to delete it. Usually when you are deleting, it would ask for this to make sure that you're actually deleting it, and there's no space again. So you are creating a new space. So let's call it so car project. So let's say Kia. Let's call it Kia project, right? So the space is a Kia project. I'm sharing it just with myself because it's a solo project. The steps of the project would be to do and complete, right? But then let's say maybe in a project it can be something that's in progress. And then let's say you are choosing in progress. Let's say you are choosing yellow. If I can add more, maybe I want to call it escalation, because sometimes there are issues that you can escalate. So let's say escalated. We hit enter, it will ask us for something. Let's use this color. And then so there are 4 statuses in this process. The moment you create a new status, you can click this to save, but then for the purposes of this, I wouldn't. So you just move on to next. Again, I'm not going to choose any other thing. These ones are coming by default. And then there are more over here. And when you hover over them to this thing, it gives you an explanation of what they do. So you can look into that when you do have the time, but for purposes you are moving. There are the 2 views by default, the list view, which is the default view, and then the board view. So for the board view, it gives you a view like a Kanban board. So there are other views you can put on. I know for a lot of project management, they have like the Gantt view, so we put that on. We review the space, then we create the space. So this is our Kia project. For now, I want you to forget this, but what this means is that it's asking you to inherit the spaces, the statuses that we created in progress, to do from the Kia project. So that's the Kia project. It's just telling us to inherit, so we can just choose that and then it would go. Or if you don't want, you can just click the off button. So because there's already how do you call it, a list created, right? So we can decide to come and rename it. Again, for purposes of tutorials, I'm going to delete it. So let's say create a folder or a list, and let's say you are creating a list. Phase 1, that's the first list. The easy thing you can do is just to duplicate these lists and just rename them, but that's another process that you can try. So let's say you are trying to duplicate, it's giving us the copy. You can decide to rename that. Are we keeping all of those properties from the first list? If you are not, you can just uncheck them and check them over here. If you want, you can just choose everything, nothing, folderless list, say copy, and then so you've created phase one, created phase two. So let's say phase one, these are the tasks that are under phase one. For a simple task creation, we can say, okay, so first task is a meeting, just hit enter. The second task is onboarding, just something simple, right? And these are tasks again that have been it's been automatically assigned to me because I'm the only person on the project, right? We can add a due date, we can add a priority, and all of these can be done in this view without necessarily moving into the bigger project. Again, if you want to make it bigger, then you click on it and then it brings it. That's when you can add your details per your choice. But to make the work easier, you can just click and just add team meeting, let's say, and deliverables, right? Yeah, so these are like the first ones. Again, you can come here, let's say this is your due date. There are dates over here. Again, you can choose. You can also set recurring dates depending on how you want to set the tax. That if it's a recurring tax and you set it, you can set a time so that it would bring the tax back whenever the tax is closed. But we are not going to do that. Let's just do this. We close. You realize that that date is here, and then we are highlighting it as urgent, right? So you can do this. So then that means that for this list, it has 3 tags, right? These are the current statuses of the tags. All of these tags are under to do. Now, when we come here and we want to move this tags to escalated, we can choose escalated, and it would automatically move out of the to do status into the escalated status, right? Same way we can take this into progress, and then it will separate itself. So for phase one, depending on who is updating everything, when you have an overview, you can know where each project is or each task is and what is happening to that task at the moment. So we can do same for phase two. So phase two is maybe, let's say, that's when you do the filming. So I'm just giving a simple example. So again, it doesn't necessarily have to be a set wording or sentence. It has to be something that you understand, or when you look at, you know that this is what we have to do, right? So filming and so let's say filming, right? Editing. Oh, final product. Mind you, these things are being assigned to me because I'm the only one on the project. If there are different people, they will turn up on a list over here, and I can search for their names and assign it to them. I can also assign to more than one person. It works, multiple assignees. So again, there's a due date here, there's a priority here, which is usually the default ones. In other episodes, I would show you guys how to bring default tags of your choice onto this look. Yeah, so these are the 3 tags. Again, when you come here and you do filming, it will separate itself. When you do complete, it's going to leave and then archive the tags. That's what it will do. So you realize that it's not over here, but then there's always a tags over here that you can turn on to show when you go to show, it tells you to show close tax. Mostly when you complete tax, it would archive itself and leave the pane, because sometimes the pane is a lot and it gets cluttered. But then when you go to show and then you switch the toggle on, you realize that the complete editing would be there. Confirm that when you turn it off, you realize that it's not there. When you turn it on, you realize that it's back. So yeah, that's a choice. Again, in another episode when I'm going through the overall pane, you would get it. So basically, that's how this should look like. This, I think, concludes the core frame of ClickUp. Thank you for staying. I hope you use it for your benefit. If anybody has any questions, please send it to me in the comments below, and I'll be sure to help if anybody wants anything to do with that. Thank you very much.